All righty, folks. We are back. Another chapter of the Success Principle. I'm your host, Norma Show. Let's take us off. Go. Principle 3. Decide what you want. The indispensable first step getting things you want out of life is this. Decide what you want. Ben Stein, author. Once you've decided why you're here, you have to decide what you want to do, be, have. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to experience? What possessions do you want to acquire? In a journey from where you are to where you want to be, decide where you want to be. In other words, what does success look like to you? One of the main reasons why most people don't get what they want is that they haven't decided what they want. They haven't defined their desires in a clear and complete detail. Early childhood programming often gets in the way of what inside of every one of us is that tiny seed of the you that you were meant to become. Unfortunately, you may have buried this seed in response to your parents, teachers, coaches, and other adult role models as you were growing up. You started out as a baby, exactly what you wanted. You knew when you were hungry. Spit out the foods you didn't like, avidly devour the ones you did. You had no trouble expressing your needs and wants. Simply cried loudly. No inhibitions or holding back. That you got what you wanted. You were fed, changed, and held. As you got older, you crawled around and moved toward whatever held the most interest for you. You were clear about what you wanted, and you headed straight forward toward it with no fear. So what happened? Somewhere along the way, someone said, "Don't touch that. Stay away from there. Keep your hands to yourself. Eat everything on your plate, whether you like it or not. You don't really feel that way. You don't really want that. You should be ashamed of yourself. Stop crying. Don't be such a baby." As you got older, you heard, "You can't have everything you want simply because you want it. Money doesn't grow on trees. Think of anybody but yourself. Stop being so selfish. Stop doing what you're doing and come to do what I want you to do. Don't live someone else's dreams." After many years of these kinds of sanctions, most of us eventually lost touch with the needs of our bodies and the desires of our hearts. Somehow got stuck trying to figure out what other people wanted us to do. We learned how to act and how to be to get their approval. As a result, we now do a lot of things we don't want to do, but that please a lot of other people. We go to medical school because that's what dad wanted for us. We got married to please our mother. We got a real job instead of pursuing a dream career in the arts. Go straight into graduate school instead of taking a year off and backpacking through Europe. In the name of being sensible, we end up becoming numb to our own desires. No wonder that when we ask many teenagers what they want to do or be, they honestly answer, "I don't know." There are too many layers of shoulds, ought tos, and you betters piled on top and suffocating what they really want. How do you reclaim yourself and your true desires? How do you get back to what you really want with no fear, shame, or inhibition? How do you reconnect with your real passion? You start on the smallest level by honoring your preferences in every situation. no matter how large or small. Don't think of them as petty. They might be inconsequential to someone else. They are not. Stop settling for less than what you want. If you're going to re own your power and get what you really want out of life, you'll have to stop saying, I don't know, I don't care, it doesn't matter to me, or the current favorite of teenagers, whatever. When you're confronted with a choice, no matter how small or insignificant, act as if you have a preference. Ask yourself, if I did know, what would it be? If I did care, which would I prefer? If it did matter, what would I rather do? Not being clear about what you want and making other people's needs and desires more important than your own is simply a habit. Break it by practicing the opposite habit. The Yellow Notebook. Many years ago, I took a workshop with self esteem and motivational expert Cherie Carter Scott, author of If Life is a Game, These Are the Rules. As the 24 of us entered the training room on the first morning, we were directed to take a seat in one of the chairs facing the front of the room. There was a spiral bound notebook on every chair. Some were blue, some were yellow, some were red. One on my chair was yellow. I remember thinking, hate yellow. I wish I had the blue one. Then Cherie said something that changed my life forever. You don't like the color of the notebook you have, trade with someone else and get the one you want. You deserve to have everything in your life exactly the way you want it. Wow, what a radical concept. For 20 some years, I had not operated from that premise. I had settled thinking I couldn't have everything I wanted. So I turned to the person to my right and said, would you mind trading your blue notebook for my yellow one? He responded, not at all. I prefer yellow. I like the brightness of the color. I now had my blue notebook. Not a huge success in the greater scheme of things, but it was the beginning of reclaiming my birthright to acknowledge my preferences and get exactly what I want. Well, then, I would have discounted my preference as petty and not worth acting on. I'd have continued to numb out my awareness of what I wanted. That day was a turning point for me, beginning of allowing myself to know and act on my wants and desires in a much more powerful way. Make an I want list. One of the easiest ways to begin clarifying what you truly want is to make a list of 30 things you want to do, 30 things you want to have, and 30 things you want to be before you die. This is a great way to get the ball rolling. Another powerful technique to unearth your wants is to ask a friend to help you make an I want list. Have your friend continually ask, what do you want? What do you want? For 10 to 15 minutes. Jot down your answers. Find the first wants aren't all that profound. In fact, most people usually hear themselves saying, I want a Mercedes. I want a big house on the ocean. And so on. However, by the end of the 15-minute exercise, the real you begins to speak. I want people to love me. I want to express myself. I want to make a difference. I want to feel powerful. Wants that are more true expressions of your core values. Make a 20 things I love to do list. What often stops people from expressing their true desire is they don't think they can make a living doing what they love to do. What I love to do is hang out and talk with people, you might say. Well, Oprah Winfrey's made a living hanging out and talking with people for 30 years. My friend Diane Browse, who is an international tour guide, makes a living hanging out and talking with people in some of the most exciting and exotic locations in the world. Tiger Woods loves to play golf. Ellen DeGeneres loves to make people laugh. My sister, Kimberly Kerberger, loves to design and make jewelry. Donald Trump loves to make deals and build buildings. I love to read and share what I've learned with others in books, speeches, and workshops. It is possible to make a living doing what you love. Make a list of 20 things you love to do and then think of ways you can make a living doing some of those things. If you love sports, you play sports. Be a sports writer or photographer, or work in sports management. As an agent or in the front office of a professional team. You could be a coach, a manager, or a scout. You could be a broadcaster, camera operator, or a team publicist. There are a myriad of ways to make money in any field that you love. For now, just decide what you'd like to do. In the following chapters, I'll show you how to be successful and make money at it. Clarify your vision of your ideal life. The theme of this book is how to get from where you are to where you want to be. To accomplish this, you have to know two things: where you are and where you want to get to. Your vision is a detailed description of where you want to get to. It describes in detail what your destination looks like and feels like. To create a balanced and successful life, your vision needs to include the following 7 areas: working career, finances, recreation and free time, health and fitness, relationships, personal goals, and contribution to the larger community. At this stage in the journey, it's not necessary to know exactly how you're going to get there. All that's important is that you figure out where there is. You get clear on the what, the how will show up. Your inner global positioning system. The process of getting from where you are to where you want to be is like using the GPS, global positioning system technology in your car or smartphone. For the system to work, it simply needs to know where you are now and where you want to go. The navigation system figures out where you are by the use of an onboard computer that receives signals from multiple satellites and calculates your exact position. When you type in the destination, the navigational system plots a perfect course for you. All you have to do is follow the instructions. Success in life works the same way. All you have to do is decide where you want to go by clarifying your vision, then lock in the destination through goal setting, affirmations, and visualization, and then start moving in the right direction. Your inner GPS will keep unfolding your route as you continue to move forward. In other words, once you clarify and stay focused on your vision, the exact steps will keep appearing along the way. Once you are clear about what you want, keep your mind constantly focused on it. The how will keep showing up, sometimes just when you need it and not a moment earlier. High achievers have bigger vision. I'm wealthy beyond my wildest dreams. Fortunately, my dreams were never very wild. Great danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high, we miss it, but that it's too low and we reach it. Michelangelo, Renaissance sculptor and painter who spent 4 years lying on his back painting the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. I want to encourage you not to limit your vision in any way. Let it be as big as it is. When I interviewed Dave Lininger, chairman of the board of RE/MAX, the country's largest franchise real estate company, he told me, always dream big dreams. Big dreams attract big people. General Me, always dream big dreams. Right. General Wesley Clark, former Supreme Allied Commander of NATO forces in Europe, once told me, it doesn't take any more energy to create a big dream than it does to create a little one. My experience is that one of the few differences between the superachievers and the rest of the world that the superachievers simply dream bigger. John F. Kennedy dreamed of putting a man on the moon. Martin Luther King Jr. dreamed of a country free of prejudice and injustice. Bill Gates dreams of a world in which every home has a computer that is connected to the internet. Buckminster Fuller dreamed of a world where everybody has access to electrical power. These high achievers see the world from a whole different perspective, as a place where amazing things can happen, where billions of lives can be improved, where new technology can change the way we live, where the world's resources can be leveraged for the greatest possible mutual gain. They believe anything is possible. They believe they have an integral part in creating it. When Mark Victor Hansen and I first published Chicken Soup for the Soul, what we call our 2020 vision, was also a big one: to sell 1 billion chicken soup books and to raise $500 million for charity through tithing a portion of all of our profits by the year 2020. We were and are very clear about what we want to accomplish. As of 2015, we've already sold more than 500 million copies in 47 languages. If you limit your choices only to what seems possible or reasonable, you disconnect yourself from what you truly want, and all that is left is a compromise. That was Robert Fritz, author of The Path of Least Resistance. Don't let anyone talk you out your vision. There are people who will try to talk you out of your vision. They will tell you that you are crazy and that it can't be done. My friend Monty Roberts, author of The Man Who Listens to Horses, which spent 58 weeks on the New York Times bestsellers list, calls these calls these people dream stealers. Don't listen to them. When Monty was in high school, his teacher gave the class an assignment to write about what they wanted to do when they grew up. Monty wrote that he wanted to own a 200-acre ranch and raise thoroughbred racehorses. His teacher gave him an F and explained the grade reflected that he deemed that he explained the grade reflected that he deemed Monty's dream unrealistic. No boy who was living in a camper on the back of a pickup truck would ever be able to amass enough money to buy a ranch, purchase breeding stock, and pay the necessary salaries for ranch hands. When he offered Monty the chance of rewriting his paper for a higher grade, Monty told him, "You keep the F. I'm keeping my dream." Today, Monty's 154-acre flag is up in farms. Monty's 154-acre Flag is Up Farms in Solvang, California raises thoroughbred racehorses and trains hundreds of horse trainers in a more humane way to join up with and train horses. His work has produced 8 national champions in the show rings of the world and more than 300 international stakes winners in thoroughbred racing. To learn more about Monty and his work, go to successprinciples.com or read one of his books: The Man Who Listens to Horses, Shy Boy, 4 Cents for People, and From My Hand to Yours. The Vision Exercise. Create your future from your future, not your past. That was Werner Erhard, founder of EST Training and the Landmark Forum. The following exercise is designed to help you clarify your vision. Start by putting on some relaxing music and sitting quietly in a comfortable environment where you won't be disturbed. Then close your eyes and ask your subconscious mind to give you images of what your ideal life would look like if you could have it exactly the way you want it, in each of the following categories. Number 1. First, focus on the financial area of your life. What is your ideal annual income and monthly cash flow? How much money do you have in savings and investments? What is your total net worth? Next, what does your home look like? Where is it located? Does it have a view? What kind of yard and landscaping does it have? Is there a pool or a stable for horses? What does the furniture look like? Are there paintings hanging in the rooms? Walk through your perfect house, filling in all of the details. At this point, don't worry about how you'll get that house. Don't sabotage yourself by saying, "I can't live in Malibu because I don't make enough money." Once you give your mind's eye the picture, your mind will solve the not enough money challenge. Next, visualize what kind of car you're driving and any other important possessions your finances have provided. 2. Next, visualize your ideal job or career. Where are you working? What are you doing? With whom are you working? What kind of clients or customers do you have? What is your compensation like? Is it your own business? 3. Then focus on your free time, your recreation time, what you're doing with your family and friends in the free time you've created for yourself. What hobbies are you pursuing? What kind of clients or customers, sorry, what hobbies are you pursuing? What kinds of vacations do you take? What hobbies you do for fun? What do you do for fun? 4. Next, what is your ideal vision of your body and your physical health? Are you free of all disease? Are you pain free? How long do you live? Are you open, relaxed, in an ecstatic state of bliss all day long? Are you full of vitality? Are you flexible as well as strong? Do you exercise, eat good food, and drink lots of water? How much do you weigh? Then move on to your ideal vision of your relationships with your family and friends. What is your relationship with your spouse and family like? Who are your friends? These friendships feel like? Are those relationships loving, supportive, empowering? What kinds of things do you do together? 6. What about the personal arena of your life? You see yourself going back to school, getting training, attending personal growth workshops, seeking therapy for a past hurt, or growing spiritually? You meditate or go on spiritual retreats with your church. You want to learn to play an instrument or write your sorry, you want to learn to play an instrument or write your autobiography. You want to run a marathon or take an art class. You want to travel to other countries. Getting choked up, guys. Sorry. Finally, 7. Focus on the community you've chosen to live in. What does it look like when it's operating perfectly? What kinds of community activities take place there? What charitable, philanthropic, or volunteer work? What do you do to help others and make a difference? How often do you participate in these activities? Who are you helping? And write down your answers as you go, or you can do the whole exercise first and then open your eyes and write them down. Either case, make sure you capture everything in writing as soon as you complete the exercise. Every day, review the vision you have and write it down. This will keep your conscious and subconscious mind focused on your vision. As you apply the other principles in this book, you'll begin to manifest all the different aspects of your vision. Share your vision for maximum impact. When you finish writing down your vision, share your vision with a good friend whom you can trust and to be positive and supportive. You might be afraid that your friend will think your vision too outlandish, impossible to achieve, too idealistic, unrealistic, or materialistic. Almost everyone has these thoughts when they think about sharing their vision. But the truth is, most people deep down in their hearts want the very same things you want. Everyone wants financial abundance, a comfortable home, meaningful work they enjoy, good health, time to do things they love, nurturing relationships with their family and friends, an opportunity to make a difference in the world. But too few of us readily admit it. You'll find that when you share your vision, some people will want to help you make it happen. Others will introduce you to friends and resources that can help you. You'll also find that each time you share your vision, it becomes clearer and feels more real and attainable. And most important, every time you share your vision, you strengthen your own subconscious belief that you can achieve it. From living to the mission to living his mission. In July 2010, Logan Dowdy was sitting outside a homeless shelter, awaiting intake into a long-term no-frills recovery program. He'd recently hit rock bottom due to alcohol and drugs. His parents and siblings wouldn't take him in, and he couldn't control his drinking or his temper long enough for anyone to do anything more than show him the door. He was emotionally spent, physically tired, and seriously stressed. As the months went by at the rescue mission, his head slowly began to clear. With the help of a 12-step program plus kind but strict Christian souls, he began to believe he might recover from this devastating chapter in his life. Eventually, his family invited him occasionally and enjoyed having him around. At Christmas that year, his sister Alice gave him a copy of the Success Principles. Thought the gift was sort of corny, He thanked her nonetheless and added it to his stack of books to read. Logan writes, I respect my sister, so I knew this book wouldn't be garbage. But honestly, I was far from sold. I thought, you can tell the guy's rich. How can he know what I'm going through? To my surprise, Jack seemed like a real guy. He wasn't born rich, and he satisfied my cynical side by explaining in painstaking detail the process by which normal people could actually change their lives. I read the book every day and even did the exercises Jack suggests. Then on March 26, 2011 at 9:11 p.m., I had an aha moment, one that will stay with me forever. As I read the chapter, Decide What You Want, I realized that in the past I would think of ways to make money, but rarely did I focus on what I enjoyed most and what I wanted to do. With great excitement, I began to create my list. 1. Exercise. 2. Kung Fu. 3. Ride my bike. 4. Teach self-defense. When I jotted down 10 encourage people, things suddenly clicked into place. I instantly knew what I wanted to do. Create and teach a self-defense system that would encourage and empower people. I even realized that I was uniquely suited to help others in this very specific way. For years, I've been a serious martial artist, and some time ago I started developing a self-defense program for women. But with my descent into alcoholism, the discipline and honor that is so vital to the martial artist had drained away along with my self-respect. In doing Jack's 20 Things I Love to Do exercise, I discovered that my martial arts experience, combined with my newfound energy and focus, made it possible for me to teach self-defense for a living. In fact, I was exceptionally qualified to stand up in front of a group of women and speak to them with authority and understanding. I'd witnessed what happened to women on the street and in shelters. I'd seen how the strong prey on the weak. Without that experience, I'd just be an academic, someone who'd studied the martial arts but had never applied them in real life situations under duress and trauma. I realized that my unique experience, skills, and wants could align in a single activity where I could actually make a living. It was like being struck by a thunderbolt. You can read more about Logan Dougherty's heartwarming journey at thesuccessprinciples.com. 6 months after affirming his true wants, Logan left the rescue mission with a completely different perspective. No longer does he feel like a victim. Instead, he constantly looks for how the world will do him good. He treats others with compassion, tolerance, and patience. Armed with nothing but a bicycle, clothes, and a newfound knowledge that he can change his environment, Logan started a small but successful yard cleaning business, and within months became the mission's senior defense instructor, teaching volunteers and staff how to deal with disruptive and potentially dangerous behavior at the facility. At the same time, he is fully developing and teaching his self-defense program full-time. As Logan puts it, I owe so much of the success to the success principles. Now I know who I am and where I'm going. I can never be taken away. Alrighty, guys. That does it for Principle 3. Choked up. Sorry, I get emotional. Principle 3, decide what you want. Next time we'll be in Principle 4, believe it's possible. Thank you so much for following Chapter 3. As principles, please remember to support the show, likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, from the show. Anything and everything you do for the show is appreciated. Thank you for any and all support that the show should receive. Sleep tight. Have a good night. Silver Show signing out and signing off. Thank you so much for watching.